Hello, viewers. It's yet another time for your scintillating program. And as always, we're here to fill you with information, fun, and laughter. I'm here with my ladies, as always, and we have another very interesting topic on hand to discuss. But before we discuss it, I want me and my sisters to do something for you. We are just going to wave at you, so please wave at us. Are we ready?
Yeah, sure.
Hi, viewers. Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so I hope you waved at us because we will see those that did not wave. And if you're waving from any part of the world, put it on the comment section that I waved from Senegal, I waved from UK, I waved from Dubai. We would
Australia.
really appreciate that. I waved from Australia or wherever you are, as long as you're not in space. So for today, we're talking about something that affects everybody regardless of race and class and status. And we're talking about relocation and its challenges. Relocation when you move from one country to another country with your family with the goal to settle down there and grow your business or your career or your family life. So I'll be asking the questions as always, and we would appreciate if you comment, tell us how you feel about it as we go along. So I'm going to start off with the first question. And I will start with Usas because I like her glasses.
Hey,
So before
so
we start asking this question, I was saying to myself the other day, I was watching one of our episodes. I'm like, maybe we should change our names to the ladies of glasses.
yeah, yeah, because yeah, that's true. Three of us are putting on glasses.
So my first question to you, what are the challenges that comes with relocating from one country to another country uh, that you now call home? What are the challenges that families face?
There are different phases when it comes to relocation. You have the time where you are so elated, many
Yeah.
people, because relocating to a country you have always wanted to, like your dream country,
Mhm.
or for a purpose. Some relocate for permanent residence or green card, or for job purpose, whatever it is, it's most times always a good reason. And when you relocate, you are so excited, you're looking forward to it. Then you are faced with some challenges like the unknown, fear of the unknown. What do I do? Where do we move on from here? Sometimes it's job
Job, yeah,
search,
yeah.
getting a job, settling down, except you relocated with a job already in your pocket, in the bag.
Yeah.
Maybe you got employed from your home country and then you relocate to the new country. But if you're moving on for what we term greener pastures,
Yeah.
then many times you don't have a job yet and you're looking forward to what to do. So the challenges many families face, or people that relocate, are culture shock, job search,
Mhm.
hunt for job, and then the impact on family life and a lot of others. I will just
Yeah, so I would channel that to Kiki. How does relocation affect the home dynamics, especially for immigrants? When let's say maybe they move from countries like Asia, Africa, and then they move towards the West, US, UK, because I know that culturally the dynamics of the home in these continents are very different when you come to the
Mm.
West.
I would want to start with saying that it could actually relocation can have a positive impact and also negative impact, right, in terms of family dynamics. One of the things, okay, let me look at the positive as let me talk about the positive aspect. Like, I think relocation might make you closer as spouse. Yeah, in some instances it makes couple come together, because back in the home country, I know of, or you usually have people staying with you, people around you,
Right.
and so it's more like extended setting of living or something like
Mhm.
that.
Now
Rather,
extended
yeah,
family is
extended
living with
family
you.
living with you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
helps,
you
supporting
have
you.
helps. Yeah, unlike here that you see more of each other, you are into each other's business, so it's more like the nuclear family setting that we've learned about in high school is really coming into play when it comes to relocating. That's why. And I think for the one of the negative things, a challenge I want to talk about is switch in gender. What do I mean by switching gender? Like there are some roles or chores or that are limited to a particular gender. For example, let's look at babysitting of children. We know I know for me, while raising my kids, my older children, like I knew my husband was not really hands on. He was available. He provided all the resources that we needed to raise the kids, right? It was there. But when it comes to maybe changing diaper, it wasn't because I had people. Yeah, I had people that were there to help me. So it wasn't really a thing that he was getting hands on or doing. But here, because we had nobody, he knew it was something that we just had to do together. So I want to say relocation at times causes a switch in some roles. Like anyone can go into the kitchen and make meals now. It doesn't have to be limited to, my wife has to do this or my husband has to. Anyone that is available at a particular time, we pick up that task that needs to be done. Even for the children too. Like the children are more engaging in when you relocated than when you had back home, because you have older help, older cousin, niece, or someone just staying with you that you can always call to help you out when it comes to some chores.
So has that okay? So I'm listening to you, and on the one hand, I'm thinking about all the videos I have seen on the internet and stories that I've heard that you see this switch of genders wasn't such a an easy transition.
Yeah.
So because you say they are positive, so I'm tending to
So
watch
what's the
like they're
next?
negative. What do you think?
Well, when it comes to we are looking at the impact of relocation on that aspect of support.
Yeah.
Okay, kid mentioned the positive part.
Mhm.
Well, for some families, it brings them together.
Right.
The bonding
Yeah.
increases because you are now helping more of like the real help meet thing
Yeah.
compared to back in your home country where you had a lot of support from neighbor, community, family members, and all that. Nevertheless, there are some families that are finding it challenging, where maybe the husband, for example, is insisting that he doesn't think he should play that role.
Right.
He doesn't think he should bring himself to do the work of a woman in quotes, whereas it's not supposed to be the work of
Yeah,
a woman,
woman,
right?
yeah.
When you are in a new country, most times because of there's a way that when you have help back in your home country, it covers a lot of lapses,
Right.
or it's like a shock. It
Yeah.
blocks some areas where you don't have support. So
Yeah.
even if your husband doesn't come help you in the kitchen or cook in the kitchen, except maybe you've always lived like a nuclear family,
Yeah.
you've never had external help, then you might really see that happening in your home. But when you now move to a new country, it's now more evident because you don't have anybody. You don't even have a neighbor that just jumps in to support you or help you in the house. So you now depend more on your spouse to support. And when that spousal support is not there,
Yeah.
then
when
it
the
brings
problem.
tension and problem in the
Yeah.
home, because the man might most times, I'm sorry, it looks like it's the man, because many times the woman doesn't look out to say a man's job. But when it comes to domestic affairs, many people feel it's a woman's job. Although I'm
Yeah.
of that, I'm of the contrary
I
opinion.
know you are. Yeah. I know.
Personally, there is no man's job, woman's job in a family. Every job in the house: sweeping, cleaning, washing bedroom, toilet, changing diaper, cleaning, feeding the children, whatever, school run, is both man and woman. I mean, you are a unit, you are husband and wife, you are
Yeah.
together,
To
you are
support
one.
each other,
And also
yeah.
support one another. Nevertheless, there is tension in many homes based on this, and it's leading to a lot of breakups.
Yeah. So I like, so viewers, pardon me. I like being a rabble rouser. So I'm going to shake the table now. So I'm going to shake the table. You see, I'm not
Okay.
going to say what I'm going to do now. So this is it. I want you to talk about, because I think that relocation, when now this might look as if I'm dissing our women, but when women come over here, because here the women have a stronger voice. A lot of people say women come to the West so that they can dominate their husband. So a woman that probably was submissive or subservient in her home country comes over to maybe the US, Canada, Australia, UK, and all of a sudden she's bringing her chest up. She wants to make a point. I no go agree, I no go agree kind of thing. Is that true? That's for you.
Okay.
Now, I'm still shaking the table. Then people also say that when the men come here, They have seen other skin color, white, whatever, and they want to taste the waters. Is that true? So I'll start with you.
Okay, Isa, I want to disagree that when women come, that's actually the belief of most men. I don't want to give a percentage to that, but I know that's the because when you hear men discuss, they want to say, "Oh, women this," but I don't want to believe because from me, that's my own perspective anyway, an opinion. I think when you give a woman lemon, she's going to make lemonade out of it. Some of these women that came to the Western world and now started saying, "Oh, I'm not going to take this or take that." Most of these things has actually started back before they relocated. But just because maybe they are coming
The
from an
environment.
environment where a woman has no say or has limited say, then they might not be able to voice their opinion or what they how they feel. And getting here, they know they can have support and everything. Then it's an opportunity for them to say, "Oh, this is how it should be. Let's live together the way it should be." That's one point. Secondly, I would want to say, it doesn't have, back home. Even if a man or maybe your spouse, don't let me say man, either woman or woman does some things that you are not comfortable with or doesn't go well or not the right way, you still want to accept some things because the living condition, the kind of work life is you can't compare it to what we have here. Like I said earlier, in situation where you have help supporting you. So if you come back from work and the husband says, "Oh, you still need to prepare my meal, you still need to take care of the child, I'm not going to help you in that aspect," for example, you have people that can do it. So you might not even care. Like you will just join hands with other people. But here it's just the two of you. You as a woman is working to make ends meet,
Right.
like support each other financially, emotionally, physically. So any area where you as a woman also need help, I think a man, a reasonable man should be able to step up to and say, "Oh, I'm going to support you." In as much as you are both supporting each other in other areas, then let's all do it together. But back home, because you had people you can call up, like if, for example, you need my help, I'm not ready to
Yeah.
help you, then there will be other people to help you, right? But here, help is limited. Like Osa say, you can't call on your neighbor, your relatives are far away from here. So the next person you would look up to is your spouse, and that's where the issue starts. When the spouse is not ready, the spouse is probably still living in that century, or maybe the life still had that lifestyle setting in his mind. They still need to sit up and say, "Oh, it's a total different environment here. Like everybody needs, even kids are hands-on here."
Yeah.
Yeah, compared to what, at least for my own my own example, like my kids are hands-on. They really do chores and everything, which wouldn't have been the situation if we were back home. Yeah.
Okay. Osas.
Well, I would say that there are some things we that are accepted. Okay, let's localize this a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, let's localize it from there's something they call African man mentality.
Right.
So when we say African man, because most people we are from Africa, so most people know that in Africa, men are told or are made to believe that they are so I don't want to use the word superior, but like the head of everything, which is okay, accepted. You are in charge. But when you are in charge, it's not to control.
Right.
Yeah.
So they have this I'm the king, you are my subject mentality with their wives. And that makes them like their wife is almost subservient to them. So you find out that those women are the ones doing practically everything when it comes to the house. The man's job or his own idea of his what he wants to do for his home is I come back from work, I sit in the living room, I'm watching TV or reading a newspaper or doing whatever I like to do,
Yeah.
but don't it sounds unheard of for the woman to say, "Oh, could you help me with this in the kitchen, or could you do this in the house, or when you come on your own decide to even do any of these things." So now we are now in another world where there are a lot of challenges.
Right.
It's not because the woman wants to develop the wings and say, "Well, I'm now in America or I'm now in Canada, I want to like boss you around.
Right.
I'm now having woman rights." It's not a woman right thing in Canada or any of the Western world.
Yeah.
It's just because she's now overwhelmed more than she was back in her home country
True that,
with
true
a lot of work,
Oh, yeah.
pressure, culture shock. There are many things she has to face
Yes.
along with the kids. And the dynamics here is different to an extent in the way that some children, especially when they are still very small, kids that are like 3, 4, 5 years, and maybe you're having one, you still have a second, and you're expected to have a third probably on the way, or you just have a newborn. All of them don't go to school at the same time. Some of them are in daycare, the daycare hours and all that.
They're not the
Work
same.
dynamics. And then
Yeah.
maybe your wife is even working and she's running a shift or something, a kind of job. You go in the morning, she goes in the night, and then everybody's tired. Now you want to do something in the house. There are people that also experience this even back home in their home country too. And it's still a challenge. It's not like they all swallow it hook, line, and sinker. Yeah, but when it now comes to this environment, is a bit pronounced
Yeah.
and the burden is higher. So that is why it now looks like the woman now gets abroad and is now expecting the man to do a woman's duty. The
Right.
things she used to accept before,
Right.
and she doesn't bother him to
Right.
do it. She's now demanding it of him, and it causes pressure. So the fact is, there's more stress. There's more money to be earned because you are like starting from scratch.
Exactly.
So you're trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Probably you were comfortable, to a very large extent, that money does a lot of things for you. You outsource so many things like cleaning and all that. You have someone that comes in weekly, cleans the house, so you don't even hassle over, oh, this bathroom is not washed, it's
Yeah.
not cleaned. You don't have to bother
car is
yourself.
not clean.
Yeah, exactly. You'd get people that do all that for you. But now you're in a world that you have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So the woman feels, I myself. I didn't come here to, overstress myself or die or do something. So the truth is, if the man is not reasonable in supporting the wife,
Yeah.
it causes
It will
problem.
cause problem.
And then when the woman reacts, it now
That's
looks
saying
like,
that.
oh, because you are now in the Western world, you are now changing. And that is what has become, because it's so rampant now. You see a lot of people saying, oh, the woman she's now abroad, she has changed, she doesn't behave. And she used to behave that way, but
Yeah.
now you feel threatened because the way you used to react to what she's doing, you can't react to that extent anymore.
Anymore.
Sometimes the man might scream on her or something and she coers. Because if she talks too much, people will call
The
and say, oh,
culture,
madam,
yes.
it's okay, you are the one, just calm down, manage your home, do this. The home is in the house of a woman. But when you're in abroad, when you're in the Western world, you don't get somebody coming to say, madam, calm down, the house is in the hand of a woman.
Yes.
Because everybody realizes
Yes.
that you
Because
have to live up to
if
expectation.
if there's too much noise and altercation, or
Exactly.
they are disturbing the peace, and
A neighbor will report
and
you.
Yes, the neighbor
Everybody's going to
will come
report.
and they will report
Report
to the police. And chances are, when the police come, they will give the man a matching order, not the woman, more often than not.
Yeah.
So that also is kind of
Curtails the man from being able to overreact
Yes,
the way he would have reacted
yes.
back home.
So, ladies, I noticed that you guys avoided my second question. So I'm going
No,
to ask
we'll
you
get
again.
there.
I'm going to ask you again. What is the effect of relocation on intimacy?
Oh, was that the
Yes,
second
that was the
question?
second question, because I said, is it true that people say that men that come here, they now see that, okay, this fish has yellow fish, white fish, black fish, chocolate fish. Let me try all the
Let them be
fishes.
trying fishes
So
and land
is it
themselves.
true that relocation affects intimacy to the point that it pushes the man towards infidelity? You go.
So, honestly, that question, I'm not the right person to answer that question, but I'll just talk on generally, yeah.
Okay.
For I don't think it's in all situations, no. I know relocation to some families brings more bond, brings more closeness, because you tend to have each other alone. Like I would always say, there's no extended family. It's more of you guys together. So it brings some kind of intimacy. You have no one to discuss with, right? Rather than your spouse. So but I've heard stories where relocation is actually breaking the home up. Maybe making them come apart, like they just practically live together under the same roof, not the right way. So that's why I said I'm not really in this way. Yeah, so it could. We can't really say it's a yes or a no. It depends on that. That's one of the reasons why when people who relocate, you need to, if it's possible, sit down together, have a meeting, talk about this, and I think that's one of the first things couples I would advise spouses to do. We need to like set priorities. Who is going to take this? Then we need to even help each other out so that you don't find a situation where you would start creating gaps. Start creating gaps. And
sorry. Go on. I thought you.
Hey, I know it's okay. Ask your question.
No, I wanted to pass
Yeah. So for me, the truth is this: I don't think it's relocation that caused that problem. The man has always been that way,
Right now,
you know,
He has
because
always been a fisherman.
fishing around.
black, red, blue, yellow, orange, purple, they are in every colors, even in wherever he was coming from. So it's not because he's seeing people from different nationalities or races or tribes and he's now like, I want to try them out. If he has not had that tendency to be promiscuous,
Yeah.
he will not, even just because of being in a foreign land,
foreign land,
start practicing that.
Yeah.
Though, nevertheless, yeah, so let me round up on that before I move to my nevertheless. So it's, I feel it's the nature, whether a man or a woman, because there are some women that are
No.
also trying to try
Yeah, because
everywhere.
the environment is open-ended for both male and
No,
female.
female.
Environment.
I mean, this terrain, the Western world,
Mhm.
like back home, if as a woman is unheard of. So if that woman had the tendency of being a flirt, she will come here and it's
Even
all
back
right.
home, people, you hear stories we
People
watch
are
internet.
flirting,
People
so
are,
me, I don't
it's even
know.
worse now. It's not the environment. Back home,
You're
it's a
talking
thing.
about maybe your generation.
It's,
Anyway, I feel that on both sides, male or female, because we are talking about how it impacts the family, right?
Yeah.
So even the male, so that we don't criminalize men too much,
Much.
and they now shut our channel down. The thing is, the women, whether male or female, it's already a part of that person. That
Yeah.
person already had those tendencies,
Yeah.
whether he was in the home country or in a
Good.
foreign land. So it just elaborates it, or maybe the person just start practicing it more,
Right.
even when it comes abroad. So even the person who did not relocate and the person was still in their home country, he or she would have still been doing the same thing.
Right.
But probably, like Okiki said, or what like Isa said, it will be more curtailed a little bit in the woman's part because
Yeah.
of societal expectations on a woman to be, morally be faithful and
Yeah.
loyal, don't be around, and even if you do it, you have to really do it in high secrecy compared to if you're abroad. And if you are here, maybe because there's no family to, like, beat you or talk to you,
Yeah.
or like blast you for
Put
doing
checks and balances for you.
thanks for that word.
Yeah.
But coming back to that question again, that sometimes if there is high level of lack of intimacy in the couple, because there are some families, the man is working night shifts, the
Right.
wife works day shift. I know lots of families like that, where the wife is coming back from work at 3 o'clock, the husband is leaving for work, and he won't be back till maybe midnight, or probably the next morning. She's back at 4, she's taking care of the kids because they are back from school, and the husband is getting ready to go to work at 7, to come back 7 a.m. the next morning. And that time the wife is getting ready to come to go to work. So it's a bit of a, it's not, they can't really find time for that level of intimacy, and it affects their level.
intimacy.
And then that's on those that run that high level of shifts work. Then there's some other group of people where it might not be shift, it could just be because you are so tiring. Working in a foreign land can be more stressful than when you were back home. When you're back home, probably you have even risen to a level that of your career that you don't do heavy lifting anymore. So you are like living a soft life to an extent. But when you are starting from here, you maybe are entry level, and even if you are not entry level, you work for your pay.
Yeah, you work
And
for
also every minute that is not your break time, you
You
should be
want
doing
to do
something.
something.
So you get back home, you are fully exhausted, and you don't even want them to touch you or come close to you. So that kind of puts a little bit of clog in the wheel of intimacy. And at the end of the day, it's now like you're denying each other of that sexual appeal and relationship. That's intimacy, and you are denying yourself. Probably the frequency would have been 3 times a week, I don't know, 4 times a week, probably every day. And then now you can't even do more than once in a week or once in 10 days because, like, I'm too tired, please, and I'll have to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to work at 6 a.m. or something. Please don't come close. I'm so stressed and all. And it goes first day, second day, third day. Well, some people that cannot keep to themselves, or that cannot hold themselves, manage their urge, will find themselves going astray.
So
And
where is the time to go astray? If
there's no time for intimacy at home,
so which
so
time
nobody has to go astray.
no, it's one person that did not have time.
The
Most
one that
times it's
has
the
time.
man, he has time. He's back from work. Like in the second scenario I painted to you, he's back from work. The wife is back from work, probably 4, 5 o'clock.
Right.
But because she's now back from work, cooking
I
in the
see your point.
kitchen,
I see your
doing
point.
this, doing that, and she has to prepare breakfast because prep up food and all. If she doesn't go to bed, although it happens even back home too,
Yeah.
not only here, but she has to go to bed very late. And maybe it's also a home where the man is not helping too.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So
After
you are,
all
you are
the
so
stress.
stressed, but the man has relaxed for 2 hours
You have
after
to
coming back from
climb.
work,
And he's ready for
and now
action.
his body is
for
relaxed, ready. The wife is now getting ready, like, oh, please,
Ready
I'm
for
winding
sleep.
down for the day. Let me sleep so that I can wake up morning to prepare the kids. She's calculating what she wants to do the next day. And now the man is saying, oh, yeah. For those that understand what oh, yeah means,
Let's
come,
Yeah,
let's
let's
hit
go.
let's hit the pot. And you're like, which pot? Please, not
But
touch.
should that be the case?
Wait, let's deal with the one that is the reality on ground. Should that be the case? We'll talk about that is the case or not. So at the end of the day, so it's like I said, the man, that's where, so the period when he first time, second time, third time, is a frequency, not, it might not be, sequential in the number of denials, but when the man starts feeling denied and he feels entitled to, or doesn't see the reason why he should be denied, it causes a problem. He walks out of the house. When he comes in now, what am I going home to do? 4 o'clock, 5. Let me go look for somebody. And then he gets somebody that is ready to, meet his fantasy. So he comes home. He now comes home later than he should have. So that's where he finds the time.
We will come back to this to talk about how to deal with it. But since we are looking at relocation and the family, I want to switch gears. We've talked about how it affects the couples. So let's now talk about how it affects the kids in the family. So you move your kids different age, little younger ones, older ones, to a new country. What impact does it have on the children, relocation? Is it a good one or a bad one, or it can swing either ways?
It can swing in either ways. I want to say, for some kids, especially children that finds it difficult to make friends easily, they might tend to want to start withdrawing to their shell. Especially looking when you talk about maybe skin colors or different culture, the way things are done here. So for kids too, so making new friends might be a thing for them, especially for children like I said, that are not like that does not make friends easily.
Easily,
So
yeah.
starting new school, getting to new environment, and for such a child, if he or she is not lucky to have a teacher that is patient, that understands things, school might be a kind of might be challenging. Like number one, they are struggling to make new friends, and the teachers too are not really welcoming or making them feel relaxed. That's one. And for some other kids, I think it has one of the another negative impact I want to talk about is if parents are not conscious and intentional, they might start as in their own experiences or their own situation might start telling on the children, like start nagging on them, start picking at them, start complaining, frustrating them, right? Their own frustration, right, might start telling on the children. So that's another area. But for kids, I think there are also positive aspects to relocation. I believe they have more opportunities.
Yes.
Yeah, some children mix up so fast, and they make new friends that might have positive impact in their life. They have different opportunities here when it comes to sports, when it comes to the library. Like, see, we have libraries all around us. They can always get books to read. Fine, we have libraries back home too, but I'm talking about the accessibility of all these facilities. So for them, and I see more opportunities here for them. So like I tell my kids, you have all opportunities here. So please utilize everything. Don't take advantage of every opportunity that you find there. So so for children, I can say it has same as adults too. It has positive and negative impacts.
What's your thought, Osas?
Well, for kids, yeah, relocation has a lot of impact. The positive sides of it, which we all know, is there's a lot of exposure. There is high level exposure. You are seeing what is happening in the highly developed environment, and you have opportunities, like she has said, to do things, to practice sports and everything. All these things are in your home country,
Country,
really,
yeah.
too. But it's just that sometimes there's a lot of scenario that play out that might not make you have that time to get involved.
Right.
And the things we focus on, like my exposure when I was in back home in Nigeria, my country, what we focus on more is academics,
Yeah.
maths, English, sciences, or maybe if you want arts or something, you have to like focus on your academics. If you are into sports, you are like a layabout or you are like a time waster. You don't they don't see the value because they don't feel that it's going to amount to anything.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, what are you going to use it for in your future? Is that what will feed you or your family? You know, that kind of a thing. Or even if you're into drama and stuff like that, they just see it as a hobby. You're playing away. Yeah, you can do extracurricular, but that's where what it is. But in the Western world, participating in all those events helps you, projects you even into a
Yes.
bigger
Stage of life.
opportunity. Yeah, like even my like when we relocated, because of our background, we didn't really, and then the challenges of moving to a new country, we didn't really register my elderly, my senior kids into any extracurricular. So maybe call it sports, whether basketball, football, whatever. We didn't do that. And then we didn't also, my daughter was interested in a few things like maybe gymnastics or ballet or things. I just felt like that was going to be like a waste of time. So, and even themselves, because they had grown to a certain age at the time, maybe was it 12? What age did they come? I can't remember. Maybe at about 9, 10 or thereabout 12. And they didn't see the need to for it. So we were more focused on go to school, academics, and all that. Now they wish they had done it. And we also wish, although financially we also handicapped because at that time we were new to the country. So asking for monthly charges of like $200 for you to go into to participate in any of this sporting activity was like a lot for us. We're just settling down. We felt it was going to be a big hole in our pocket. But now, I've been staying here for a while. My last boy is participating back to back in basketball because a lot of kids participate in basketball, all this extracurricular, even cadet, music, band, swimming, and all these things to give them opportunities to even do something greater in life. You know, here, the environment here is not only academic based, it's also skill based. So even whatever skill you have, can still make you bigger than what you think. What I think you are just doing like a play or like a hobby can make you take you to a higher level. So those are the opportunities that kids have here. And like she said, we all tell our kids, take opportunity, take advantage of what you are exposed to. We didn't have that. So we only work, we went to school, got career, a profession, and that's what we are practicing. You have the world in your hands. And so that's on the chat. On the negative aspect, well, it has this culture shock on kids. There's sometimes racism, subtle or systemic. It might come to play because sometimes kids go to school, they are, first of all, assimilating or integration might become a challenge. Accent and listening to different
The way the teachers
different accents. We have different languages, or not English, everybody, but getting to learn and understand what this person is speaking that is English, and what it gives you a while when you get your school, what your teacher is saying, you're still trying to grab and adjust. So it comes as a challenge to some kids. Getting into friendship, making friends, like she also mentioned, is a big challenge for some children. Some children easily are here and there. They are extrovertish and all, and some are not. So it can affect them. And then when the home is not, the parents are now projecting their frustration on the children. They are not understanding because they just assume that a child easily adjusts. Some children don't easily adjust too. They are struggling. Some children struggle and they don't know how to say it at home.
And so true. So apart from the schooling aspect, integration aspect, other ways it affects the kids are change of weather.
That's
So I remember that when we came here, the winters can be very dry. So my daughter used to, at night I'll be hearing her scratch her skin, like scratch. I was like, what is this thing? And where we are coming from, when you take your bath, you sponge twice. I had to learn how to reduce the number of times.
That is pretty.
because you are scraping off your
The moisture.
natural body oil. So I
Yeah.
was like, why my skin so dry? So those are one of the things the kids would have. Another thing too, I remember when my son was he 3 years, in the middle of the night, he had cough and catarrh. It was winter again,
Cold.
cold. And then in the middle of the night, he was coughing as though he was barking.
Mm.
What is this one? So out of panic, I carried him, rushed off to the children's hospital, and expecting that the doctor would
What?
give antibiotics, whatever.
Dose him.
You know, and they said, no, we're
That's
sorry,
not
it's viral. If something,
something.
he said, no, it's viral, it's cool. I said, which one is cool?
Screw back. I'm
Like,
hearing that for the first time
and
myself.
I remember asking them, so what do I do? Because he was not comfortable, the sound was very disturbing. And they said, well, it will pass, just make sure he's hydrated, let him rest. And then as you're going back, wind down, put
Oh.
down your windows so that he can breathe in the cold air. And I'm like,
Someone are you asking you to breathe
in? To put it again. So those things, the weather is another very big thing for our kids.
Yeah,
because
even
not
for
just the
adults.
kids,
Yeah, even
adults.
for us
I
too.
remember
Yeah.
I was asking myself when we came, what am I doing here? Why am I here? It's minus 40. You know, so that's another thing. And then even for us women, our hair. We
Yeah,
talk about that, how it affects our hair. It's so dry.
I know.
I remember because when I came, I had natural hair, and every time I would comb my hair, I
So
would just
much.
have
You are
so
losing
much
a
of
lot
hair.
of hair.
I'm losing lots
Yeah.
of hair. And it was later on somebody told me that, it's very dry. You have to moisturize. It now made sense when you watch adverts.
Was it?
The effort they go, because I
there.
never used to do that. Cream myself all the way.
Well,
I just
use body oil. You have
use body oil, use moisturizer, steam your face. I didn't do all that. We came here and then we had to do it. So those are the challenges or the things that you face when you relocate. So we're going to go into solutions. Now that spicy topic that we were talking about, we're coming back to it. So we're going back to the intimacy conversation that we had before we branched into this one.